The ultimatum sounds good until you realize you might just lose your man, okay? The ultimatum sounds good till you realize you might just lose your woman. Now you're going to be sitting here reevaluating your whole life, wondering, was this the right decision? Hey y'all, it's Chloe and we're back with another video. You guys, we are here to review The Ultimatum, Marry Me or Move On Season 3, Episode 1. And I can tell from the first episode that this season is going to be very, very messy. So I hope that you stay around and join me for it, okay? But before we get into this review, you guys already know the deal. If this is your first time here, sit back, relax, watch the video through. And if you like what you see and you like what you hear, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you keep coming back and you haven't subscribed, I'm gonna need you to go subscribe because you like it here. You obviously like it here, okay? If you're one of my lovely members or subscribers, hey y'all, how y'all doing? I'm doing fine because we hit 10K and I want to keep that number rising. So I need to make sure I provide you guys with the content. So of course we're reviewing Married at First Sight and The After Party, The Ultimatum, and Love Never Lies. So y'all make sure your notifications are on so that you won't miss an upload. Now that that's out the way, baby, we got to get into The Ultimatum. So season 3, episode 1, we meet Zaina. Zaina gave the ultimatum to J.R. And I'm not gonna lie, J.R. rubbed me wrong from the first time he opened his mouth, okay? Here we have Zaina talking about how they are aligned perfectly and they're each other's perfect match and how they just perfect for each other, right? And he comes out talking about something, and I was the first to make her orgasm. Excuse me, sir? Because then we need to know that. I don't mind if you was the first one. That's good for her. I'm glad that she got to experience that in her lifetime. But we didn't need to know that. And it just felt like, what are you trying to prove? What are you trying to prove? They've been together for 3 years. Now, Zaina said, now, normally if she was in her 20s, she wouldn't be rushing to get married, but she's in her 30s. And it's about that time because she wants to have children. She even mentioned freezing her eggs. And I'm like, girl, slow down. You got a little bit more time before we need to start talking about freezing eggs. But at this point, you might as well just go ahead and get rid of JR if he's not really ready. He said that he knows that she's the one for him, but he doesn't want to get married again. So then what's the end goal? Please help me understand. To be a forever boyfriend? Because obviously you're saying that she's the one for you, she's perfect, and all these things. But then you turn around and say, but you don't want to get married again, knowing she wants to get married. So either marry her knowing she wants to get married, and you said that she's perfect for you, and she's the one. That's what you said. So go ahead and make her the one then, and marry her. He talks about how in his last marriage there was infidelity and he's just not beat for getting a divorce again. So he wants to make sure that if he does get married, it's with the right one. But sir, you said that she was the one. You said that she was the one. Okay, with all the contradictions, we won't let it ride for now. Nick has given Sandy the ultimatum. He said he's at the point in his life where he is just ready to settle down. He told us that when him and Sandy first met, she used to just call him when she was leaving the club drunk. Basically, he was a booty call. And she's like, you should be happy. You should be happy I was calling you when I was drunk. Because that means that obviously I was thinking about you and you was the only D I wanted to sit on. Well, she ain't add that part, but I did. Okay, I added that part for fun. He's talking about how he's ready to buy a house by the lake and just chill. And she's like, I'm not ready for all of that right now. Of course, I want a family one day. Of course, I want to have kids, but I'm still young. She basically want to be outside. She want to be outside and he's ready to come inside. They're not on the same page. So it's very obvious that these two lifestyles are not really matching, if you know what I mean. He said he doesn't want to walk away, but he's willing to if it's what's best for both of them. Just walk away. Just walk away. She for the streets. Sandy sounds like she's for the streets. Sir, you was a booty call. You was never supposed to be the main guy. You was supposed to be the person she called when she needed some D. And then, feelings probably got caught and she felt like, oh, he's a good guy. Let me just go ahead and stick it out. I don't feel like she really wants you. And that's very obvious, especially when a man has to give the ultimatum. Mariah gave the ultimatum to Caleb. She said that although she's young, she's 24, she feels like this is the perfect time for her to get married. Her career's going good, and she almost has the perfect life right now. She just wants her husband. And he's not ready for it. She told us that she told him almost immediately when they first started dating that she wanted to get married and she wanted to have children. So she don't understand what he's not getting. He thought that because you was young, he was going to be able to manipulate you and change your mind. He didn't really think that you was going to press the issue. And then every time you asked, he thought that all he would have to say is, you still have time. You're still young. You still have time. Not realizing how serious you was about this. That's all that was. He said he does want to marry her, but just not now. He wants her to enjoy her life. I told you that was the manipulation he thought he was going to be able to use, but now look at him up here on the ultimatum. She said they've been together for almost 2 years, and if he's still not sure, then she feels like he's wasting her time. Girl, I'm glad you realized that when you're young, because I tell you, when you are young, you just stay in these relationships just to stay. So I'm glad that you realize that this man's wasting your time 2 years in, because you don't want to end up here 4, 5, 6, 10 years of girlfriend trying to figure out where all your youth went. She said that she loves him, but at the end of this experiment, if she has to walk away, then she's confident in the decision that she will have to make. I love that for her. 24 is standing on business. Girl, don't let these men play in your face, because as long as you let them, they will. And then before we can even formally get introduced to David, okay, he is over here talking about how Mariah is such a beautiful woman and he really want to get to know her. And I'm sitting here like, excuse me, who is this man on my TV? Who is this man on my TV? Because we didn't even get to learn his name yet. We don't even know if he's giving or getting the ultimatum, but we do know that he's checking out Mariah across the table. What the actual F? Y'all, when I tell y'all, I was like, hold up, because what? He's already thinking about who he wants to match up with, who he wants to hall pass with. Child, when I tell you it's going to get messy, it's going to get messy. Stick around, stick around. So then we formally meet Vanessa and her boyfriend, David. Hey, Dave, nice to meet you. They've been together for almost 3 years now. And I'm like, girl, leave him. Girl, leave him. He is wasting your time. Y'all only been in the experiment for 5 seconds and he already looking for who he could prey on. Leave him now. Run for the hills. She tells us that every time she brings up marriage, it seems like a taboo topic that they just cannot talk about. He's like, we could talk about it. I just don't understand what the rush is. He's just not in a rush. I still feel like he want to be outside. Because the way he was already checking out Mariah rubbed me wrong. Rubbed me wrong. So far, J.R. and Dave have rubbed me wrong. She said that she's trying to figure out what is it about her that he's not 100% certain about. Because she deserves to have someone who's 100% about her. And I felt that, girl. You definitely do deserve that. It's not him. I don't think it's him. Just from the first 5 seconds of us meeting Dave, I feel like you're wasting your time even dealing with the ultimatum. Unless you come out with someone, then this was all worth it. Because we could have told you to leave that man alone a long time ago. So then we meet Scotty. Scotty gave Aria the ultimatum. She says she wants to marry Scotty, but it's just not the right time, okay? They live in 2 separate cities. She said that, her career is going good, and she's just not ready to make that sacrifice. She don't believe in making sacrifices for men because she said that she saw her mother drop everything for her father, and her mother ended up resenting her father for that. And they are not together to this day, and she don't want to follow in the same she doesn't want to follow in the same footsteps. I totally get that. I don't feel like you should have to sacrifice anything. If you at the peak of your career, why don't Scotty move down there since he want to marry you so bad? Now, when it comes to these children, y'all don't have to have children immediately. Just because you get married don't mean you have to have children. That's a decision that you guys can make on your own. And honestly, you can actually have children before getting married. You know that? Because all you have to do is have sex. So if you're still sexing him, there's always that possibility that you could end up with children. So something in me just says that I don't feel like she's really certain about Scotty. And the fact that they've been long distance for this long and they haven't really made an effort to even try to get close to each other just tells me that this relationship doesn't really have a strong foundation anyway. So I'm not understanding why Scotty would want to marry her when I don't even think they've been together long enough in the same city to experience each other wholeheartedly. But hey, what do I know? What do I know? He said that he's going to move on if at the end of this experiment, she still doesn't want to get married. Well, that's the name of the show. Marry me or move on. Then y'all know Vanessa Lachey is going to make a way to talk about herself. Okay, she brought up the fact that she gave Nick Lachey an ultimatum. I would never admit that on TV, telling everybody that y'all been together for 5 years and you had to make this man marry you, because that's essentially what it is, make him marry you. She said that she kept pointing the fingers until she realized that she had to point the finger back at her, because was she giving him all the things that she wanted? Was she giving him the respect that she wanted? Was she communicating with him the way she wanted him to communicate with her? So I feel like the advice was really good. But I also don't think that you gave Nick Lachey a hall pass to go, find him another trial wife. I don't think that was ever in the equation of your ultimatum. So yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same. So as we know, tonight is their last night as a couple. When they wake up tomorrow morning, they will be single and ready to mingle. They will start speed dating. They will have 1 week to find somebody that they want to start a trial marriage with. Then they will be married to that person for 3 weeks. And then they will swap, go back to their original couples. And at the end of all this, decide where and who they want to be with. Whether they're going to marry the person they came with, leave with the person they found here, or just go home alone. Now, they gave them rings, and I wasn't really sure on what the rings were for. I didn't know if the rings was for the trial marriage or for the actual proposals at the end, but nonetheless, they got some rings. I guess we'll figure out how the rings work later on. So Vanessa and Dave are having their last conversation as a couple, and he's telling her, like, you could just tell that everyone who was in their room that was getting the ultimatum felt like they was in trouble, even though they were getting an ultimatum for a good reason. And she was like, well, then my reason isn't good enough. I mean, everybody else's reasons seem to be valid except for mine, because that's the energy that you just gave me. She says you either know or you don't. He tells her that he's 1,000% committed to her. And I'm thinking to myself, you can be committed to somebody and also know that they're not the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with. He asked her, why does she feel like marriage screams committed more than how he already is committed to her? Because that's exactly what marriage is. It just shows just how committed you are to this person, that you chose to marry them. Get a marriage license that says we are going to be married till death do us part. That is a different level of commitment, because if it wasn't, you would just marry her, right? Right. I don't like the way I feel like he tried to manipulate that conversation, try to downplay what she wants out of life. Sir, either get with it or get lost. Get with it or get lost. Don't try to make her change her way of thinking by telling her that marriage isn't really a bigger commitment than a commitment y'all already have. Then he said he's surprised that she put this much pressure on him, because there's a high chance that he can connect with somebody else. And not only did he say there's a high chance he could connect with somebody else, he mentioned who he thought that somebody else could be. And he named her. And he said Mariah. The way I would have got up and slapped that man, baby, I'd have been like, oh, so you trying me? Because you're trying me. That's exactly what he was doing. Because nobody asked you for all of that. Nobody asked you for all that, and you're doing too much. And I feel like he'd been playing in her face for a long time if he felt comfortable saying that at that moment. Talking about some she interesting my ass. So then we meet Chanel and Micah, who we didn't meet at the round table, but they there, okay? And this is their last night as well. Chanel tells Micah she feels by them breaking up, it will bring them closer, because that's what happened to Nick Lachey and Vanessa. Baby, they also didn't have trial marriages where they was actually trying to get to know someone and be sleeping in the same bed with them. I don't think they did the same thing y'all doing, but hey, they sold y'all a dream and y'all bought it, so here y'all are. So he asked her, how do you know that you're ready to be a wife? She was like, the fact that I've been with you for this long, the fact that I've been there with you through thick and thin, through the rough times and everything, and I still have to prove myself to you is crazy. So then he hit her with the Uno reverse and was like, don't just act like you the only one that been there. I've been there for you. Those nights that I was going around driving Uber with you, I was the one going in the restaurant. I was the one dropping the food off. I've been there with you. Child, I'm like, ooh, the struggle love. It sounds like struggle love. Y'all might as well stay together. Just stay together at this point. I feel like Micah's making excuses not to marry her. What does her, having the job that she always wanted have to do with her getting married? I don't understand how these two connect. I feel like he's just throwing a bunch of excuses at her, talking about, oh, you don't want to have no kids right now. I keep trying to tell y'all, sex is what gives you kids, not marriage. So to keep using, getting married and having kids as an excuse is BS. Because you literally can get pregnant today as long as you're having sex. And then what? If you're not going to stop having sex until marriage, then stop using that as part of the excuse. It's actually old and it's tired. So he asked her, what if I don't have the answers for you at the end of this? She said, well, then I'm going to have to move on. Sounds about right. Sounds about right. I just really hope they stand on business. I really hope these people stand on business because y'all know they end up still, being at the reunion, not married, but still together. Child, wasting everybody's time, giving the ultimatums for nothing, going through all that heartbreak for nothing. So now it's the next morning and Scotty and Aria are talking, right? Getting ready for their dates because they're single and it's time to go mingle. But she told him that she could only imagine that he would actually be sad. He said he feels as if this is what their relationship needs. He said there's only so much FaceTime and so much texting that they can do to grow their relationship living in different cities. Well, she's like, but all other girls here live in different cities. He basically told her he don't care where they're from. He's looking for someone who shows moments of compromise in their relationships. He said that's one of their main issues. They really haven't had an emotional connection lately. And I'm like, hold up and stop, pause, breathe. Why do you want to marry someone who you are not emotionally connected with as of right now? Why would you even give them the ultimatum? Not only are y'all not strong, you are inviting other people into your relationship. This sounds like a setup for disaster. The foundation is not even strong enough. Y'all not even talking about how y'all perfect for each other, how this person is the one. Y'all literally sitting here talking about how y'all emotional connection isn't strong. Oh, you're definitely about to be wide open. Because at this moment, any ounce of attention, affection, compromise, compassion that somebody else gives you, you're going to eat it up. You're going to eat it all up. And so I feel like this is a disaster waiting to happen for these two. So now it's time for like the little pool party so all the singles could start speed dating. David said he had his eye on Aria and he didn't waste any time getting to know her. As soon as they sat down, he was ready to open up and tell her all about himself, okay? He was talking about his love language and acts of service and what that looks like in his relationship and how he be getting taken for granted and all the things. He told us that he connected with her almost immediately and he didn't expect to feel that comfortable so fast. I'm like, well, dang, it's only been 3 minutes. You're already falling in love with Aria? It seems like you had your eye on her for real. Because I don't even feel like the conversation was that deep. But if that's all it takes for you to fall in love, then, child, it seems like your nose is going to be wide open. Even though he found himself connecting with Aria fine, he can't keep his eyes off Vanessa because he's staring Vanessa down while she's talking to Nick. Now, Vanessa, girl, she was not letting Nick talk at all. Every time Nick would open his mouth, she would just butt in and start talking over him. But the more that they start talking, I was like, these two might actually work out because how often do you find two people dating each other that both dropped out of art school? That is like very uncommon. But you can tell that Nick is really liking Vanessa. So I feel like maybe they might actually have a connection going forward. So J.R. and Sandy are talking in the water. And the first thing he realizes is her calves. And she's like, why are you looking at my calves? And he's like, because, mine are so small and that's one of my insecurities. I don't feel like J.R. is as confident as he is, okay? She told him that nobody's looking at them calves, baby. Did you see them arms? Everybody's looking at the arms. I feel like J.R. has a lot of insecurities and he tries to hide it behind his body and his looks. Because that was a very odd thing to start talking about somebody's calves as soon as they sit down and point out the fact that you have little ones. That was very strange to me. But the conversation got real sexual real fast, okay? Because they both talked about how they're Scorpios. He said he never dated a Scorpio woman. She was like, yeah, me either. I haven't dated a Scorpio man. And he was like, he heard that the Scorpio women are freaks. And she was like, And I said, J.R., don't piss me off. I already told you one time in this episode, don't piss me off, and you working on number 2. Because this is your idea of building connection. It's nothing but sexual conversation, sexual energy between these two. They sat down and the first thing they started talking about was body parts and image. I don't feel like they really are trying to connect. If anything, they're lusting over each other. He said that he likes Sandy. She's gorgeous, but he got his eye on Aria. And he knows that they both got issued the ultimatum. So he feels like, maybe they can have fun together. I don't know why I feel like they would have been cute together. But cute as in like just cute together. I don't think he's serious. But then again, she got offered an ultimatum, so maybe she's not serious too, and these two could have a good old time. The same way I feel when it comes to him and Sandy. Them two could have a good old time. I don't think JR is serious about anyone, if you want to be honest. I feel like he's really ready to just like be single, get in this trial marriage, and see if he can screw somebody. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually has sex with whoever he's on his trial marriage with. If they allow him, that is. But surprisingly, in his conversation with Aria, they were talking about, how they both come from large families. He's one of 7, she's one of 8. He's a pastor's kid. How he met his ex-wife at 17 and they waited for marriage to have sex. So now I can understand why that divorce really affected him, because he probably felt like he did everything right. And then it seems like she cheated on him. And ever since then, I feel like he's been scared to commit. And when men are scared to commit, they usually become womanizers or really, really sexual and see women as just people to have sex with. So I can understand why he wouldn't want to marry her, because his ego got hurt. And he doesn't want that to happen again. Which is probably why he works out so much, so that he can always feel like the prize. So Zaina decides to go talk to Scotty because she said he's one of the few men there that asked for an ultimatum. And it's just something sexy about a man who knows what they want and willing to put everything on the line for it. He explained to her how he grew up in a 2-parent household and how he has a healthy idea and experience with how marriage should work. He asked her about, the living situation, because technically she still lives with her ex. She said, yeah, but that lease is almost up. So if this doesn't work out and we don't end up leaving engaged to get married, then, I'm going to move. We're going to go our separate ways. I said, well, that's the perfect time for the lease to be up. Because God knows you don't want to be over here on an ultimatum and you leave with somebody else. And now you got to go back to the same apartment with that person. Because imagine how devastating the conversation got to be after all of that. When I tell you they hit it off, they hit it off. He said that she is definitely wifey material. So now everybody is meeting up for the cocktail party so that they all can mix and mingle a little bit more. And they decide to play a game called quarters. So basically somebody whispers something in someone else's ear. If it lands on head, they have to, answer the question. If it lands on tail, they just have to say what the question was, something like that. But let me tell you what we learned from the game. We found out that Aria has the least connection with Dave. Dave said, well, damn. Because I really thought we was hitting it off. I said I did too. But I told you that, you said you got too comfortable too fast. Maybe that was the issue. Friend zoned. It was given friend zoned. That's why I was so comfortable. Caleb said that he was spending the night with Aria. We found out that JR wouldn't want Nick to date Zaina. I wonder why. I never really understood what was the reason. But he was really sure about the fact that that's not who he wanted her to date. So after this game is being played, you see Dave, starting to feel away because Vanessa and Nick are really hitting it off. They off in a corner having a great conversation. And Dave's just standing there looking. I'm like, this has got to be awkward. I don't know why people put themselves in this position, because I'm definitely one of them people that would crash out. I'm definitely one of them people that would crash out. I can't take it. Mentally, emotionally, I couldn't take it. Dave went over to Vanessa because he's freaking out. He's just like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. I think we should go. And Vanessa's like, hold up. No. Vanessa's living her best life, okay? She's been having a great old time with Nick. She's ready to experience everything this experience has to offer. And she is not about to let Dave talk her out of it. She said, you may be ready, but I'm not. I still got some things that I need to figure out. See, Dave, you effed around and found out, didn't you? You effed around and found out. Vanessa said it's only been 1 week. I said, oh, she locked in. She's here for the whole thing. JR's talking to Sandy, but the whole time he's talking to her, he's rubbing her shoulder down and her arm and holding this, just doing a lot. I don't know why that scene made me so uncomfortable, because I feel like there's still a level of respect you have to have, just a little bit, because Zaina's right there watching. He's really taking this whole I'm single thing and running with it. JR, you're thinking with your little head and not your big one, okay? When he told her that he think they would have some cute children, some cute mixed babies, I said, what is going on? He rubs me wrong so bad. He really does. Everything's so sexual. You don't want to have kids with this woman. What are you talking about, JR? What are you talking about? Meanwhile, Zaina and Scotty over there falling in love. She's telling him how she really likes him and he's her number one. She said it's definitely something there between her and Scotty. It is. I would be lying if I said it wasn't. The way them two talk to each other, the way they look at each other, the way they just hold it, it's something there, y'all. I'm not gonna lie, it's something there. So I totally understand why Aria was having a meltdown. Because if I was Aria and I was watching the chemistry that my man had with another woman, oh, I would be running off to the bathroom too. I would be having a meltdown too. I would be crashing out too. Homegirl was so upset. She's just distraught. So much so that she had to walk over there and was like, so this what we doing now? So this is what we doing now? Because you holding hands, and I'm like, be careful what you ask for because you just might get it. Girl, you didn't want to marry that man. Y'all emotional connection wasn't strong. And you let this man talk you into coming on this show for Ultimatum. And you about to lose him because it's something between them two. I saw it. I felt it. I felt it in my stomach. Whatever it is, and I feel like it's real. I ain't gonna lie. Whatever it is, I feel like it's real. You gotta watch out for them. Because they might turn this trial marriage into a real marriage. Aria said, I'm done with this. I'm done with this. This is disrespectful. I'm just like, let it out, sis. Because I understand the crash out completely. I understand it completely. Ooh, child. I'll be back for episodes 2 and 3 tomorrow. So make sure your notifications are on. Because I'm sure these couples are going to take us on a ride. So make sure that you hit that notification bell. I really hope you guys enjoyed this review. Like the video. Drop me some comments down below and let me know what you think about this episode. If you have nothing to say, drop me some yellow hearts and let me know you was here. Don't forget to subscribe. Okay? And with all that being said, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.